Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Monday, the 13th of September, 8 o'clock. Hope you're doing well. Love Mondays, as you know. Love Mondays. Feel very productive on a Monday, or feel ready to be very productive on a Monday. I've had a great weekend. Shared some time with my friend Pete and his family. Um, Played lots of chess, which is very good. I find it very relaxing, interesting, because it's quite mentally taxing, but I find it quite relaxing. And I think we came out about 50-50 in terms of victories over the weekend, so that was quite good. And it's nice, isn't it, just sometimes to kind of do something, to find yourself in a different space, doing different things. Um, I love being at home. I'm a home bird, without a doubt. Absolutely am. But it's nice to be in a different space sometimes and spend time with different people, and you learn things. That's one of the great things I love about visiting people, or talking to people on chat like this and stuff. And you learn different things all the time, don't you? It's really good, really good. Um, so I kind of like that. That's pretty cool. But I was just reading some stuff this morning, as you do. Um, my input phase of my morning schedule, have in my diary, have a little phase that says input, and then have a little phase that says output, and that's this bit in many ways, or typing up notes or doing something like that. And I read this from a book from a book by Julie Morgenstern, and called Time Management from the Inside Out. And I was intrigued by the title to start with, because if you've listened to me before, you'll know that I don't like. There are some terms in this productivity world literature that I don't like. You know that I don't like work-life balance. You know that I don't like time management as a concept, because you can't manage time. You can only manage what you do with the time that you have. You know, I get where people are coming from when they say time management, but I think it some of these things set us up psychologically at odds with ourselves, doesn't it? So if you call it time management, that sounds like you can manage the time. But if you're managing task to time, then the task becomes important, and thinking about that becomes important. Um, so I was intrigued by that, because time management from the inside out to me is not a good title for a book, because I don't believe you can manage time. Um, but then I came across this quote, and I'll read it to you. Good time management is not about buying a great calendar or planner. Really? Well, maybe it isn't, because with anything, it's what you do with it, isn't it? But I do like a stationary purchase from time to time. Although I use an online calendar. Online calendars are just so much easier, aren't they? Because you can move stuff around easier, share things with people. But anyway, she says good time management is not about buying a great calendar or a planner. It's not about learning tricks to move faster. I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that 100%. I think we need to work at a steady state, not rushing at things, not losing momentum when there's a little bit less to do. I know that doesn't happen very often, but not losing a little bit of momentum when there's not quite as much to do. But keeping that steady state, so we're trucking through stuff, maybe adding stuff into our days rather than wasting the time. Sometimes I'm terrible for that, finding a slot in the day and finding I just lose it to doing stuff that it is unhelpful for my future self. Um, so yeah, so I agree with that. It's not about learning tricks to move faster, she says, or it's also not about doing everything with mechanical efficiency. Hmm. Hmm. I'd argue there are some elements to it where we need to be efficient, and where we can mechanize, routinize, if you like, aspects of it. And I'm probably not going to talk about planning per se today, but planning is one of those areas where I think you can strategize your workflow, make it a little more mechanistic, so it becomes more efficient. One of the places you can make your workflow more mechanistic, if you like, is in the way you plan your day, to avoid those boundary moments. Those boundary moments are the places where you're transitioning from one activity to another. And if in that boundary moment between the two activities you are not clear about what you're doing next, you will procrastinate, or you run the risk of procrastinating. Then instead of quickly making a cuppa, or taking a little 5-minute break and getting straight back into the task, because remember those micro breaks are important. Um, you end up kind of spending 10, 15 minutes or even longer pondering what you're going to do next and maybe faffing about with stuff so you don't get anything done. So I think, I'm not exactly sure what she's getting at there, but I think there is room for mechanizing, routinizing, strategizing around your workflow so that your transitions between things, particularly, and then having all the things in all the right places for a task, kind of move you effortlessly through the tasks that you need to do. She says this though, and this I really, really do love and I agree with. She says it's not about those things, with the caveats that I've just discussed. She said it's about creating days that are meaningful and rewarding to you and feeling a sense of satisfaction in each and every one of your tasks. And I genuinely believe that, and I'm mindful that I do a job that is significantly controllable, where I can kind of plough my own furrow sometimes, where I can do things the way I do. My job and has a great deal of autonomy to it. And I regularly talk to lots of social workers because that's my profession, and they have some autonomy in their jobs as well. And as do lots of professionals, because when you've got this tag professionals, whatever that means, we can talk about that, whatever that means, you do get a lot of autonomy to go about your business in the way that you see fit, to an extent, at least maybe in terms of scheduling your diary and that kind of thing. But anyway, so it's about creating days that are meaningful and rewarding to you and feeling a sense of satisfaction in each and every one of your tasks. And that's Mahali's Sixth Sense, Mahali's thing about, finding joy in every moment. I think we have to do that. And you know, as we've dispensed with this concept of work-life balance, I can talk about either. So when I'm, I don't know, cleaning the house or batch cooking a whole lot of food, and I'm maybe tired, sometimes that is hard. It's hard to generate that sense of satisfaction. Cleaning the toilet, hard to generate a sense of satisfaction cleaning the toilet, I suppose, because it's a bit gross. Um, but what we need to do, therefore, when we're looking for this sense of satisfaction in each and every task that we do, is find the internal motivator. Not the external motivator of the dirty toilet becomes the clean toilet, or the iron pile becomes the clothes hung in the wardrobe, or the report gets written because you have to hit the end date. Those are all kind of external markers, but it's more internal stuff, more emotional stuff, more value-based stuff. I'm cleaning the toilet because I want my house to be nice for, my family, because my family helped me, with my inner well-being and inner balance. So I'm doing this because I like to achieve these things. And all right, you're achieving them on behalf of other people, but you're motivating it from inside. It's a bit like there's lots of people I know have been doing the Great North Run this weekend. That's the biggest kind of mass participation run in the northeast, at least. Might even be in the country, I think, now, isn't it, in England? And if you motivate yourself to run by, I want to be as fast as that other person, or I want to run so I'm going to measure myself by the other person, or I must achieve 8-minute mile pace, or those kind of things. Those are kind of external motivators. I mean, there's a sense of internal drive there, depending on how you phrase it. But really, it's about saying, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because I want to be fitter. I'm doing this because I want to be healthier. And really, the minutes per mile, the length of time it's took you, the distance, all of those things are external motivators. Now, external motivators do motivate us to a point, but if we're looking for happiness, if we're looking for joy and satisfaction in every moment, then what we need to do is motivate ourselves internally. Why am I doing this? For me. That's really important. So there you go. So good time management, Julie Morgenstern says, is not about buying a great calendar or a planner. All the nice planners on the wall are really good. It's not about learning to strategize and routinize our days and our lives. To be fair, makes things easier if we can move effortlessly between tasks without being derailed in those boundary moments, and create this sense of satisfaction from figuring out internally for you why you're doing this thing, even when it's something that's out of your control, even when it's something that has to be done. Why are you doing it? And sometimes my internal motivation is I'm doing this right now because I can get it out of the way because it'll make me feel better about everything else I'm going to do. That's the eat your frogs metaphor, isn't it? I'm going to write this report that I think is largely pointless. I'm going to write this now because I don't like doing it. I'm going to get it out of the way. And my motivation is not that it needs to be there by next Friday. My motivation is an internal one of satisfaction for me that it's done and it's gone, and I can now get on to stuff that I prefer to do. So there you go. Um, Time management's not about your calendar. It's not about a pretty calendar. It's all about what you put in.